What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Gear Garden. This week, we are just going over gear that worked for me and stuff that I think that I do like that I'm gonna keep using and stuff that I don't know if I'm gonna keep using, and let you know how I did with it this year. These are just some of the packs I used this year. Actually, I think they're all of them. The poles I used, and then a good amount of the shelters I used. My Big Agnes is not in here, and that's because it's currently set up in the backyard, because when you're not on the trail, at least for me, all I do is set up my tents. I spend time with my daughter in my tent, and we just play all the time. And with that being said, my Big Agnes Copper Spur is definitely the tent that I will continue to use and will always use. It has never let me down in rain, wind, anything I could think of. It's never gotten me wet inside, and it's something that I can always rely on, unlike some other shelters I've used this year. Another one of my favorites from this year was this tarp tent dipole DW1. Obviously, it's a trekking pole tent. It's a double wall, which I'm a big fan of for trekking pole tents. I know that Dyneema is all the rage, and I would personally love a Dyneema tent. I just can never pull the trigger on such an expensive piece of gear, except for my Hyperlight, which is probably the most expensive pack I own, not the most expensive tent. But regardless, the tarp tent did me so good this year as well. I think my only complaint was that I started getting some pinholes in it, so it does need more patching, which I did do, but I was not a fan of getting wet in it in the rain. But I took that on some pretty big trips this year, and it was a solid shelter, and I think it's only like $220, $230. So that's like a highly recommended shelter I recommend you get. Another recommendation that really goes without saying is this Durston X-Mid, just the one. It's $240. Awesome in weather conditions. It's super light. I think it's just under 2 pounds. And honestly, the only complaint I have is that it's kind of like a coffin, which if you're through hiking or if you're going on long trips, you're not in your tent all the time and you're asleep, so it doesn't really matter about as much space, which is what I liked more about the tarp tent, because it provided a little more inside space for me. It wasn't a weird format, but the people at Durston are awesome people. Their products are really cool and affordable. So I think if you're on the edge of getting like a nice expensive Big Agnes tent, but you also want a really nice trekking pole tent, I would think you should go with maybe one of these guys, for the fact of the matter that it's so weatherproof and it's cheap and it lasts so long, and it's double wall, so you still kind of get the love and luxury of a double wall tent while still being able to quickly pack and quickly set up and be safe in your trekking pole tent. Okay, so this year, this is how my year started with the Gossamer G420 pack. This pack is so efficient and so light. It's got so many pros of packs that I like. I love the roll top on anything. I give and tell everyone, if you're gonna get a pack, I suggest roll top. I feel like there's more space in a pack with a roll top, because you can extend it and you can lower it. You can pretty much adjust it to whatever you need. It's not just some hollow space. This is a frameless pack, but I believe this pack is also, I think, about $200, and on Gossamer's website right now, I think it's about $99 on clearance for this model from the year before. So if you're somebody who's starting to look into getting a little more ultralight setups going and you want a solid pack, I definitely think this is the way to go. This will not let you down, but for me, the reason I stopped using it was because I was trying to do longer trips with more gear, bigger bear cans, and obviously you can do that with this, but I was also looking for like supreme comfort as well as heavy carry, which obviously there's people that'll tell me you can still bring all that in this, and yes, you can, but I was looking for that next step up, which led me to end up buying the Gorilla from Gossamer, which is a 55-liter pack on paper with a frame inside of it. It comes with all the same similar style. You got the seat in the back here. The only thing I don't like the most was that it's not a roll top pack, but that's okay. Easy water pockets to get your water bottles in and out of. One zipper pocket on the front. You can't really use too much for that zipper pocket if you have this pack fully stuffed. And to be honest, I actually only have used this pack one time, because I got it expecting it to be a little bit bigger than it was, because I didn't want to get the Mariposa because I thought it might be too big. So I went with the Gorilla, and I won't say I was disappointed because the pack did great. I just felt like it looked like a stuffed pig, me trying to stuff big bear cans and all my gear in here, and my gear is pretty compressed. So again, I'm sure somebody will tell me that this pack can carry everything in the world, which again, it can, but I was looking for one more step up, and that landed me on my favorite piece of gear I own, which is this Hyperlight Southwest 55. And the best part about the Hyperlight pack to me was how big it is, but like I said, how small it is. I mean, similarly, it's pretty close size to the G420 just off of like, you know, looks wise, except I can put way more stuff in it. It's waterproof, it's Dyneema, which you have to be careful on. I did put a little hole in it and it's okay. It doesn't affect any of the waterproofing from where the hole is, but it's just such a secure pack and I can put so much in there. And I have had zero complaints except for in the beginning, it was an adjustment trying to get the water bottles in there by myself because I'm not that flexible. So reaching back, and these are higher and they're super taut, which is good because it's for water resistance, but it was an adjustment and I just can't have enough good things to say. And so I think that if you are gonna buy a pack and you're willing to commit to the game and really go for it all, I think this Hyperlight Southwest is probably the best pack in my opinion. The biggest honorable mention that I will throw out there is this DeSolo pack from the brand DeSolo. And this is a frameless pack. I think it weighs about 15.8 ounces. It comes with the back just like the Gossamer pad does. It's frameless. This thing can be a tank if you have your setup dialed in. If you're an ultralighter, if you're on PCT, whatever you're doing, this pack is money and it's only like $75 on sale. And you can't find many packs that have that price point with that weight. It's almost impossible. Please, if you know, put one down there, but I don't think you'll find one that this is this good. Similar Rovic nylon materials, cool colorways. And he also just dropped some really cool trekking poles that I got my hands on. So get ready to see those because they're awesome. These Durston trekking poles are money makers. I tell you, I have only had one issue with them, and I think that comes with how light they are, but one of them is slightly bent. I managed to bend it back a little bit, but honestly, it's kind of my fault as well because when we're hiking those big trails or peaks or something, I put all my weight on them and lean forward. I don't know if that should really cause the pole to bend per se, but they only weigh a few ounces a piece. So they're definitely not meant for your body weight, obviously. But I got a lot of slack for these when I bought them from a lot of people because they were like, there's no handle grips, you're gonna slip, you're gonna fall, they're gonna snap on you. And I can say I've put these things through hell and back. And this by far is probably my favorite trekking pole that I've ever owned. I've had some Black Diamonds, a couple pairs of those, and they're super heavy, which can be nice, but I feel like there is a good balance between durability and weight. And I feel like this is almost striking perfect. I do know that they released some newer versions of these with the, what are they called? Hand grips, or not hand grips, but the straps. That's what it is, the straps. And I do recommend that somebody should try these. I think they're like $160. It's like 80 a piece. And that's pretty competitive in the trekking pole game, if you ask me. Katadyn Be Free, these are my favorites. They always have been. I think I have like 6 of these. I tend to buy them just in case they do go out because you do get defective ones every now and then. Don't be stupid like I was and put electrolytes in one of these because it clogs it up because all that sugar and the fibers just blend and they get stuck in there. And it doesn't end up working, and it sucks when you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't have a good water filter that only just drips. But these are like 25 bucks for just this, so you can get these and screw them on even like a big Gatorade bottle at a gas station. Super fast and efficient. You just scoop, drink, keep walking, waste no time, keep going, put down more mileage. It's awesome. Again, this is how my year started with the Toaks. The Toaks is a super stellar pot. It's really cheap. It's like 20 something dollars. And I paired that with either the BRS stove, which is like $15, weighs 1 ounce, and the Pocket Rocket Deluxe. This stove never let me down either, but knowing me, I like trying a lot of new things and I like experimenting to see if there's something better. So from there, I ended up upgrading to the Soto pot. It was super big. I think it's like 1,100 milliliters. And I use that with my Soto Amicus stove, which is probably my favorite stove as far as like small. It's smaller than my Pocket Rocket as far as sizing goes. Doesn't have as big of a broad burner, but it's fast and I like it a lot. I don't know, other than that, I don't know. I just really like it. And then how my year ended, which I think everyone should get this, is this new Fire Maple pot. This thing is just super cool, locked lid. You know, you can store everything in here. The Fire Maple stove is in here too. And I always put, I don't know if you noticed, I always love these MSR sporks. I like that they're long still and I can just collapse it and it fits in there. I have a ton of titanium sporks too, but I find that I like these. They're just as light. I can wipe them right off. There's no issue. I never burned them on anything. They don't melt. I'm sure they can, but they haven't. Only problem is sometimes if you eat like super bright or colored foods, they will stain, but it's plastic, so as expected. And so I think, again, my favorite pot is the Soto pot. I think it's called the Wind River pot, but the close second is by far this Fire Maple, and that's just because this heat exchanger makes water boiling go to another level. It's like performance of a jet boil with your ultralight pot. As you can see behind me, I have the best tent of my setup out here already. Inside there has my 2 other favorite pieces of gear that I'm gonna show you right now. The Enlightened Equipment Revelation quilt. This thing is so badass. It is a 10-degree quilt, the one I got, long and wide, so I'm never cold. I can always wrap up like a burrito in my tent. It's really light. I think it's like 20 ounces or a little less than that. I'm not quite sure, but I got the 850 fill down, and I've never had a cold night in this. Even if I just wear like shorts and nothing else, no socks, my feet are always warm, so I definitely think you should catch one of these on sale too. I have never made a sleeping pad video, and I don't know why, but I've always come back to the Big Agnes Rapide SL regular wide. This pad is so warm. I have used quite a few other pads. The Thermarest Neo Airs are super warm. They're almost hot, but I love that this thing kind of cradles you in. It fits me perfectly. I'm a big side and stomach sleeper, and I usually get a pretty good night's rest on this no matter where I am or what conditions it is. So I think if you pair this with that quilt, you're just gonna be super warm, and you can use this in all seasons too. I've used it all times of year, all different temperatures, and it's perfect for me. This is my Sea to Summit pillow. It is very comfortable. I think it's the Eros premium size pillow. It is kind of expensive. I think I paid $70 or $80 for it, but if you want extreme comfort, like the size of your pillow from back home that weighs like, I think 5 ounces, this is the way to go to make sure you sleep good at night. And one last thing for the video is my Black Diamond Storm R headlamp. This thing lights up a football field. It's so bright. It's got red, green, and blue. You got dimming mode, strobe lights, a whole 9. This is the headlamp to go with. There's no other question about it. I've used night cords. I've used all sorts of other brands. And I have never felt better or more comfortable at night using a headlamp because this thing lets me see anything and everything in sight. With that, guys, thanks again for watching the Gear Garden. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below, share this video with your friends, and we will see you next time.